What's up, world? How y'all doing? It's Dante Divine Laswell, your favorite Scorpio. Okay, because at this point, it's not Drake. But anyway, all jokes aside, today I want to talk about DV. This story that actually came out like a month ago, so I'm weeks late, but it really hit home because DV is such a big thing. Well, always has been a big thing, a bad thing, a terrible thing, and like, what are we gonna do about it? These people in our relationships that we get in relationships with, and they feel like they own us, they feel like we belong to them, and you can't tell people no anymore, or like that you changed your mind, or you know, it's just crazy. Honestly, like especially people who haven't even been that far down in dating. Like I can almost see because really, I think at any place, any time, any place, you should be able to keep your cool. And you have real serious issues once you take it further than being angry about a breakup. Y'all go to either harming or murdering people at this point. And it's really crazy. Like y'all really don't seem to have any emotional stableness, like your emotion. I don't know what's going on. I can't even put it in words. I'm trying to sound intelligent, but like, whew. Okay. So the story I'm going to talk about is Carlos Collins. Carlos Collins is a young man. He was a nurse, and he got murdered by his ex boyfriend. Um, and this, of course, hits home for me because I mean, Carlos looks like me. Um, have I personally been into some domestic violence? Um, yeah, I guess I could say I've dealt with a little share of it. Who's it there? Excuse me. Um, but I've definitely seen, and not even like straight up violence, but I mean, I've seen my mother go through little things here and there with the guy she was dealing with. And then me personally, there was a point like my first boyfriend, my first love. I would definitely put that on there. My first love, it did get to a point in our relationship where he was living with me, and some people really are bums undercover, and they'll stunt with all the stuff that they stole or someone stole for them, credit card fraud type stuff, and you might see and think that this person got it together, and in reality, they don't. Excuse me. There's a lot of people out here looking for people to take care of them. And um, me and my boyfriend, who I thought I was in love with, we were living together at one point, and he had lost his job, and then he was also like not looking for another job. He wasn't. Ugh. Oh my god, he was just so trash, honestly. And it got to a point where I don't know, we were just disrespecting each other. Like the respect was out the window for me because I was paying all of the bills by myself, and he was a grown person trying to leech off of me and wants to lay up all day, and I wasn't having it. And got down to us actually getting into a fist fight, and like once you put your hands on someone, like y'all, there's no coming back from that. And I think you should get away and out of that person's life immediately because if someone that hits you, they will kill you. I believe that personally because you could really hit me like on the wrong side of my head or something like that, and you can kill me. Um, thank God, like I got out of it with maybe like a black eye, and he had a busted mouth type shit. and we went our separate ways like very soon after that. But this Carlos Collins, it really did hit home for me. Okay. Um, I looked at the Shade Room. Hold on, let's see what the Shade Room posted about it on their website. Now, ex police officer. Now, this man was a ex police officer. Um, ex police officer, and the breakup turns deadly. So you really just didn't want to be broken up with. You felt like you owned Carlos. You feel me? So on April 9th, Carlos Collins was tragically murdered by his ex-boyfriend, a former cop, Marcus Johnson. Johnson was accused of stalking the 25-year-old and was even placed under a restraining order. So like literally stalking him, restraining orders, like they mean nothing. Nothing. You have to have a restraining order and a gun. And you really need to protect yourself and keep strapped all the time, because from my understanding, as far as the law goes, like why are you guys not putting ankle monitors on people to make sure they stay away from certain places and certain areas that the person that's scared for their lives are in? Like they should be getting shocked or something. Y'all really, I feel the government is really setting people up. They want one person either murdered and the other person in jail, or both murdered or whatnot, because 9 times out of 10, a restraining order isn't going to help a thing. It only helped me a thing. So anyway, so you were stalking him. Before his death, Collins reached out to Jackson, Mississippi police for help, but did Johnson's role as a former police officer keep Collins from being taken seriously? Now, let's see what they have to say on The Shade Room Investigates. Because
he was living in a nightmare.
He didn't deserve what he went through. He didn't deserve it.
Carlos Collins' family says the red flags were there.
He basically stalked him.
His ex-boyfriend caught on Ring camera lurking near his apartment, but nobody expected him to shoot Carlos dead at his apartment, then use an axe to finish killing him.
Immediately, I thought Marcus.
The ex-boyfriend, a former police officer, is now in police custody himself.
Look at this. He look crazy. You ever see, like, look at somebody and, like, you could see crazy, or you could see, like, in their eyes something ain't right? Like the demon is just there in their soul, like right there. And I actually had I had somebody that I was dating, or whatever what the fuck you would call it. And he came on so strong, like I thought I had found the one at first, right? But then sometimes you'll look at him in the eye, and I remember I got so tipsy, and I went to a bar with my friend, and me and her were talking about this guy, and just left him. I was like, he just making me feel so good, like he did this and that, but something told me in my spirit, I was like, but I think he's the devil. I think he's the devil. It was just like something about, like, in his eyes, he looked like he just was full of deceit and full of just, I don't know. Like sometimes you could feel it, you could see it if you're spiritually aware. And to be honest, I talked to that guy way longer than I should have. The guy was really a big mess, a big liar, just a mess. When I think about our conversations, he would jokingly say things like he would kill me. Like I really got to a point where I think I was just like over our whole little situation, it wasn't going anywhere. And I would say things like, I mean, you can stop talking to me or we can stop talking. Like he'll be like, oh, I'll kill you. Or like just a joke. And he'll act like it's like a joke. Like, boy, I'll kill you if you go anywhere. Like that, it's not anything you take lightly because of situations like this.
Former police officer is now in police custody himself, but shocking revelations in court. The murder was caught on Ring camera.
And it's just crushing me to, have to watch his final moments.
Why his family says police dropped the ball. The restraining orders didn't work.
Just surprised that it happened in this way.
A prominent lawyer stepping into the shade room about it and what we all really need to do to protect ourselves from this kind of violence.
He was so young, bro. He was only 25. He wasn't even 30. He wasn't even 45. And you just murdered him. And then I had no idea that it was caught on Ring camera. So you didn't even care about the cameras. Like you knew the camera was there. And because you were an ex-police officer, I felt like you could do what you want.
It should never happen.
I'm Justin Carter. This is TSR Investigates. You could tell that Carlos Collins loved life just by looking at his social media. And it was also reflected in his work as well as a nurse. And he was a favorite amongst his patients and his colleagues. But all that light was dimmed when he met 33-year-old Marcus Johnson at a nightclub in 2022. After a year of dating, his family says they broke up. And then Collins started to notice a pattern of odd behavior that eventually took a deadly turn. Ashley Hudson got a call at 2:30 a.m., April 9th. Her younger sister was hysterical.
And I just heard.
Okay, why is my stuff acting so slow? It had only been a year. It had only been a year y'all were dating and you took this man's life. Sick.
Her scream, this gut-wrenching scream.
Their brother's neighbor had called. It was an emergency.
Stating that they heard what seemed like my brother saying, "Stop, Marcus," followed by several gunshots.
It was gruesome, a violent scene. The Tapestry Northridge Apartments in Jackson, Mississippi. 25-year-old Carlos Collins was found dead in his apartment. Police say the perpetrator used a blunt object in the process of killing him, which we now know was an axe. Hudson says when they got to the scene, police were not forthcoming with information and shooed them away with no compassion.
We even had one officer, walk past us like with a smirk on her face, and like as she's holding her gun on her holster. I'm like, y'all are treating us as if we did something. Immediately, I thought Marcus.
The hunt was on for Marcus Johnson, Collins' ex-boyfriend, who was nowhere to be found. A day went by, and just as fast as the details of the story made waves on social media, a high-speed chase about an hour away from Jackson in Rayville, Louisiana. Johnson was captured, taken into custody, and confessed to killing Collins.
I was happy that he was caught, but to be honest, it doesn't make me feel safe.
It's shaken this family so much. They continue to feel like they're being watched. They say that Johnson is being protected because he has family members that work for Jackson police.
September sometime of last year, that's when the first police call was made, when he was telling the police that he was on a lease and all of that, which he wasn't. And he was like, well, I got toothbrush, clothes and stuff up there. So the police, JPD told my brother about him having clothing there that they can only make him leave for 24 hours.
And when did he file a restraining order?
That next morning. So that happened around 10-ish. So the police told him that he couldn't change the lock because he had clothing up there. But that didn't matter because you're not on the lease.
The Shade Room dug further and learned that Johnson was employed with the Jackson Police Department as an officer back in 2013. Police said that he was let go, though, 8 months in, pending disciplinary actions, and he resigned just prior to his termination. Also, according to the Clarion Ledger, he found himself on the other side of the law a year later when he allegedly used a fake badge number and wrote a fake ticket to a female student at Jackson State University. He allegedly told her he dropped the ticket in exchange for a hookup. He was later arrested and charged with false pretense, grand larceny, and 2 counts of impersonating an officer. We also
Like,
did a quick scan of his social media.
before we get into social media, bro, what's wrong with you? You're sick. You're sick. But the social media, right? The social media, before we get into social media, like, he was posting things that were like blatantly showing he was freaking crazy. Crazy.
Yeah, where he lists his current job as a police officer for the city of Jackson. You can also see his photos in uniform and also some unusual posts on his timeline, many of them about relationships.
Headed back to her house after our 7th breakup this week.
Hey, don't try to figure me out, because I'll block you and still stalk you.
Even posts alluding to killing a significant other.
Never breaking up. It's either me or nobody else in this world. I love you to death.
And I could just be on.
And y'all live like that. You can't tell you no. People can't change their minds. They don't want to be with you no more because most of y'all be fucked up anyway. You're not the cream of the crop. Y'all nothing to be wanting to be with. Y'all be terrible people. Y'all be terrible people, and they want people to stay with someone who is abusive. Y'all want someone to, like, it's literally psychotic. Because if you was ready to leave, you'd be ready to leave. But y'all take somebody's life, and now both of y'all, you in jail and he dead. Now what? Like, and then y'all still have the rest of y'all lives. You could find love again. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it.
Snapchat and Marcus' store will pop up and I can see the same background, like he's in the same environment. I feel as if he stalked my brother from the beginning because when he introduced us to him, we was at this club called M Bar and he was kind of like a few tables over. And now that I think about it, every time, like after that, we would go out, but even before he announced that they was in a relationship, like places we would be, like I would see him.
Did you ever tell your brother, I think you should do something about this?
We were the one that encouraged him to, get the restraining order.
Hudson says her brother started revealing more about his relationship with Johnson during a family gathering last year, which ultimately led to those restraining orders. Take a look to the left, too. On multiple occasions after their breakup, Johnson was caught on Ring camera sitting on the steps outside of his apartment building, just waiting.
February, March. That's when he was like, I smoked my hookah last night. I know I had it, but today when I got off work, a flavor that I know I don't use, it was open and it was cut the same way that Marcus would cut it when we were staying together. Just basic thing, like letting him know, like, I can get in here anytime. I don't care about you changing the locks. Some kind of way he was still getting in the house.
Colin's family says the last 2 months for him have especially been rocky. He recently found air tags and trackers on his car, as well as a Ring camera he believed that his ex had installed at a vacant apartment nearby to spy on him.
All of my siblings can tell you I watch ID channel. That's my favorite true crime. And I watch these type of shows all the time, see the signs, and I still wasn't able to save my brother.
It's a devastating thought as they struggle with the fact that a restraining order wasn't enough to save him either. The Shade Room sat down with prominent attorney Justin Miller about this.
When you have a restraining order, right, it's always better to put on record what's going on so that the police know that there's a problem. Because if they don't know there's a problem.
First of all, let's just talk. You're stalking him. You're on. You ran into his. You went into his house while he wasn't there. I mean, complete ownership. I mean, have you ever been with anybody? And how do you even like look out for these kind of people? How do you background checks on someone who was a police officer? Like, bro, it's so crazy to me. And all the signs, and then they'll tell you, "Oh, you let the police know, or restraining order, blah blah blah." But it does nothing.
The problem now, later on down the line, when something like this happens, they can say, "Well, you never told us." And in this situation, they did tell them. So, this is a little bit different.
What should people do in a case like this where you're fearing for your life or
They-
your safety?
First of all, you need to tell the police. I would write
What has the police ain't doing nothing for nobody? Nothing.
something down. And give it to them so they can put it in a file for you. And it says, hey, my name is Justin Miller. This person that said these things, this is why I feel like it's serious, because they have this issue and this mental health issue, and this thing is going on. So you want to make sure you get it in a file. The second thing I would say is you tell the people at your leasing office, you tell the people in your neighborhood so that they see this car, your neighbors see this car, the people at your leasing office see this person, they know something is wrong and they shouldn't be here. And then the third thing I would say is do the same thing at your job as well, because they can come to your job. That way, then the police have no excuse. And in a case like that, it's a little different. But most people don't do these things. And that's why I'm saying do them now.
We did reach out to the Jackson Police Department for a comment and to ultimately learn more about his family ties and his history with the department. We're still waiting to hear back. Colin's family says they're grateful that Johnson is in custody, and they're now going to be shifting their focus on a proper celebration of life for him. And this is a reminder, too, if you're struggling or anybody you know are struggling with domestic violence, you can call a number. It's the national hotline. It's 1-800-799-7233. For TSR Investigates, I'm Justin Carter.
Well, see, that's a nice breakdown, Justin. Thank you. So I don't have to read anymore. But you installing air tags on his car. You're installing cameras. You're sick, bro. What is wrong with people? The family that's protecting you, they clearly have no idea that you're mentally ill, bro. What is wrong with you people? Because it's not just Carlos Collins. This is a lot of stuff happening like this. Men killing their girlfriends all the time. And unfortunately, I don't like this one, what is it, viral crimes? And it seems like they cover nothing but Black people who have been on social media acting like their lives are perfect and they have the perfect relationship, and then one breaks up the other and one's murdered. Like, y'all are murdering the kids. Y'all are just, what's going on? What's going on? So I just pray for the world. I pray for everybody in their relationships, possibly in domestic violence, because what are we doing? What are we doing to each other? And then you guys are leaving. A lot of you guys are leaving you guys kids as orphans. You guys have kids with the people you guys murder. Then y'all either turn and murder yourselves or y'all end up in jail for the rest of y'all life. Like, make it make sense. But okay. That's it on this story. Please like, subscribe, comment. Tell me how you feel. Do you guys have any, recommendations on how to not get murdered by someone you think you might love or whatnot? So Leave your comments in the chat. Please like, subscribe, share this video, and please, if you guys are in some DV situations, please get out of them. Run away. Run far, 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 far away. Drop everything that you have. Drop everything that you know. And leave. Straight up. All right. Peace out, y'all.